The Clippers take on the Pacers, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Indiana. The Clippers are the 2.5-point favorite on the road, total 216 and a hook. We saw a half a point fade of Indiana at home here, which means we saw a half a point move toward Los Angeles in the early wagering. We also saw a half a point move upward on the total as well. The Clippers open as the 2-point favorite, up to minus 2.5. Total open 216, up to 216 and a hook. 82% of the consensus are leaning toward the Clippers. And at the moment, the Pacers are plus $1.15 on the money line. Now, Indiana's failed to cover in their last two straight. Jakar Sampson and Malcolm Brogdon are listed as questionable for the Pacers. Indiana's covered just 5 out of 11 at home this year. They also ranked 20th in offensive rebounding, 20th in home three-point percentage. Now, the Clippers on the other side, a little bit different story. Pretty hot as of late. 8-2 straight up in their last 10 games. 3-1 against the spread in their last 4. They're led by Kawhi Leonard, who's averaging 25 points a game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Paul George is also averaging 23 points a game, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists for the Clippers as well. Now, 3 out of the Clippers' last 5 games did stay under the number. They're also 14-10 to the under overall for the year. Now, the Pacers on the other side, 3-0 to the under in their last 3 themselves. I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, and take the Clippers -2 and the under 216.5 in that game. Next matchup, Cavaliers taking on the Celtics, and that's going to be a 7:30 Eastern tip-off in Boston. The Celtics are the 13.5-point favorite, total at 216. We saw a half a point move toward Boston and movement downward on the total. The Celtics open as the 13-point favorite. They're now up to minus 13.5. Total open 216.5 down to 216 even. 71% are leaning Boston, 53% shaded toward the under. Right now, Cleveland's plus 820 on the money line. Cleveland's also really struggling as of late, dropping 9 out of their last 10 games. They also covered just 20% in those 10. They're just 5-17 straight up on the year, 2-8 straight up on the road. Kevin Love is listed as questionable for tonight's action. The Cavs rank in the bottom 3 in scoring, bottom 3 in field goal percentage, bottom 3 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, Boston on the other side, a little bit different story there as well. 5-1 straight up in their last 6. They're also 7-2 against the spread in their last 9. Boston's undefeated at the Garden this year, 9-0 straight up at home, 7-2 against the spread in those 9 games at the Garden. Kemba Walker's averaging 22 points a game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Jason Tatum, 21 points a game, 7 rebounds, 3 assists for him. Boston ranks in the top 3 in points allowed, top 5 in defensive field goal percentage, top 10 in home three-point percentage as well. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Boston's last 2 games stayed under the number. They're also 13-8 to the under overall for the season. I'm going to lean toward the home chalk in this one. Give me Boston minus 13.5 and the under 216 in that game. Next matchup, it is going to be Magic versus the Bucks. 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Milwaukee. The Bucks are the 12-point favorite, total at 219. So a half a point move toward Milwaukee and movement downward on the total. The Bucks open 11.5 up to minus 12. Total open 221 down to 219. 76% are leaning Milwaukee, 73% shaded toward the over. Right now, Orlando's plus 630 on the money line. The Magic have also dropped 7 out of their last 10 on the road. They're just 9-13 against the spread overall for the season. They rank in the bottom 3 in scoring, bottom 3 in field goal percentage. Now, Milwaukee on the other side, no problem putting up some points for them. They rank first in scoring on average per game, first in offensive rebounding. They're in the top 3 in defensive field goal percentage as well. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 31 points a game, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. Chris Middleton's averaging 17 points a game, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists as well. This Milwaukee squad is 10-1 straight up at home this year, and they're 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 straight. Now, 2 out of Milwaukee's last 4 games got over the number. They're also 6-5 to the over at home. Meanwhile, Orlando on the other side, 2 out of their last 3 got over the total as well. I'm going to lean toward the Milwaukee Bucks minus 12 and the over 219 in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Monday's NBA action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out once again on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we do daily premium selections on that website beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. And if you want to check out my current record for free, you can do that as well right now. It's right on the homepage. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Raptors taking on the Bulls, 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off in the Windy City. The Raptors are the 4.5-point favorite on the road, total 215. So a half a point fade of Toronto and movement downward on the total. The Raptors open -5, down to -4.5. Total open 215.5, down to 215 even. 77% are leaning Toronto, 59% shaded toward the over. Right now, Chicago's plus $1.85 on the money line. Now, the Bulls have dropped 5 out of their last 7 games. They're also just 4-8 straight up at home this year. They rank in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 3 in offensive field goal percentage. Now, the Raptors, on the other side, a little bit different story there. They rank in the top 3 from downtown, shooting the 3 ball. They also rank in the top 10 in offensive rebounding. Pascal Siakam's averaging 25 points a game, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. And Kyle Lowry, 21 points a game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists for him. Toronto ranks in the top 10 in points allowed, top 3 in defensive field goal percentage. And when it comes to this total, Toronto 70% to the over in their last 10, 13-9 to the over thus far for the season. Meanwhile, on the other side, 2 out of Chicago's last 4 got over the number themselves. I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, and lean toward Toronto -4 in the over 215 in that matchup. Next contest, it is going to be Kings taking on the Rockets. 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Houston. The Rockets are the 12-point favorite, total at 228. So a 1.5-point move toward Houston and movement downward on the total. The Rockets open 10.5 up to -12. Total open 228.5 down to 228 even. 59% are leaning Houston, 75% shaded toward the over. Right now the Kings are plus 630 on the money line. The Kings have also successfully covered the number in 6 out of their last 8. Sacramento's also 9-4 against the spread on the road. They rank in the top 5 in defensive rebounding. They're led by Buddy Hield, who's averaging 21 points a game, 5 rebounds. Harrison Barnes is also averaging 16 points a game, 5 rebounds as well. Sacramento, 11th in points allowed on the road, 11th in defensive three-point percentage on the road as well. Now, Houston, on the other side, failed to cover in 2 out of their last 3. They also rank in the bottom 10 in offensive field goal percentage, bottom 10 in points allowed. Gordon, Nene, Green, they're all still out indefinitely. Tyson Chandler is also downgraded to questionable for tonight's action. Now, 2 out of Houston's last couple of games stayed under the number. They're also 13-9 to the under for the season. Sacramento, on the other side, 7 out of their last 9 stayed under the number themselves. They're also 10-3 to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean toward the home chalk in this one. I'm not leaning toward the home chalk in this one. I'm actually made a little mistake there. I'm actually leaning toward the road dog in this one. I'm going to lean Sacramento plus 12 and the under 228 in that matchup. Next game, it is going to be Pistons taking on the Pelicans. And that's going to be an 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off in the Big Easy. The Pels are the 1.5-point favorite in this one. Totals at 226.5. So a half a point move toward New Orleans and movement downward on the total. The Pels open as the 1-point favorite. They're now up to -1.5. Total open 229 down to 226 and a hook. 56% are leaning Detroit. 55% shaded toward the under. Right now the Pistons are plus 105 on the money line. Detroit has successfully covered the number in 3 out of their last 4. The Pistons rank in the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage, top 3 in offensive three-point percentage. Blake Griffin's averaging 19 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. And Andre Drummond, what can I say about this guy? He's averaging 17 rebounds a game. Unbelievable. That's going to lead the NBA in rebounding. He's also averaging 18 points per contest and 2 steals. Andre Drummond, really, really looking good this year. Now, a team that's not looking good right now is the Pelicans. They lost their last 8 straight, right in the middle of an 8-game losing streak, where they failed to cover in 7 out of those 8 games. The Pels are just 6-17 overall for the season, bottom 3 in points allowed. Derek Favors is listed as questionable for tonight for the Pels. They're also just 4-8 straight up at home, bottom 3 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, total-wise, Detroit's 4-1 to the over in their last 5. They're also 6-5 to the over when traveling. I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it up, and lean toward Detroit +2 and the over 226.5 in that contest. Next game, Timberwolves taking on the Suns, and that's going to be a 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off in the desert. The Suns are the 4-point favorite at home, total 223.5. We saw a half a point move toward Phoenix and movement upward on the total. The Suns open 3.5 up to -4. Total open 232.5 up to 233 and a hook. 60% are leaning Phoenix, 51% shaded toward the over. Right now, Minnesota's plus $1.45 on the money line. Minnesota's also dropped 6 out of their last 8 games. Minnesota's also failed to cover in their last 4 straight. They rank in the bottom 10 in offensive field goal percentage, bottom 10 in points allowed. Phoenix, on the other side, top 5 in scoring. They're also 13-9 against the spread overall for the year, 3-1 against the spread in their last 4, and they rank in the top 10 in home scoring. Devin Booker's averaging 26 points a game, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and Kelly Oubre, 17 points a game, 6 rebounds for him. Total-wise, Phoenix is 70% to the over in their last 10. They're also 8-4 to the over at home this year. Minnesota, on the other side, 3-0 to the over in their last trio of ball games. 8-4 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean toward the home favorite in this one. Give me the Suns -4 and the over 233.5 in that matchup. Next game, OKC taking on the Jazz. 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Utah. The Jazz are the 8.5-point favorite, total at 212 and a hook. Saw a half a point fade of Utah and movement upward on the total. The Jazz open as the 9-point favorite, down to -8.5. Total open to 11.5 up to 212 and a hook. 65% are leaning Utah, 66% shaded toward the over. And right now the Thunder are plus 345 on the money line. OKC is just 3-7 straight up on the road this year. They rank in the bottom 5 in offensive rebounding, and they're just 4-11 straight up as the underdog. They also rank in the bottom 10 in road scoring. The Jazz, on the other side, pretty good at home this year, 9-2 straight up at home. That's pretty much been the case over the past couple of years. Very good home team. They're also 12-4 straight up as the favorite. The Jazz rank in the top 5 in three-point percentage, top 10 in points allowed. Donovan Mitchell, 25 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for him. And Bogdanovich, 21 points a game, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists for Bojan. Now, total-wise, Utah's 13-10 to the under on the season. OKC, on the other side, 5 out of their last 7 stayed under the number themselves. They're also 60% to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean toward the home chalk in this one. Give me the Jazz, -8.5, and the under 212 and a hook in that game. All right, next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Memphis taking on Golden State, 10:30 Eastern tip-off in Golden State. The Warriors are the 3-point favorite at home, total at 218.5. We saw a 1-point fade of Golden State and movement upward on the total. The Warriors open as the 4-point favorite, down to -3. Total open 216.5 up to 218.5. 54% are leaning Golden State, 57% shaded toward the under. Right now, Memphis is plus 135 on the money line. Ja Morant upgraded to probable for Memphis tonight. He's averaging 19 points a game, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Jaren Jackson is also averaging 16 points a game and 5 rebounds for the Grizzlies. The Golden State, on the other side, losers in 4 out of their last 5. They also went just 2-7 straight up in their last 9. The Warriors rank in the bottom 5 in scoring, bottom 10 in offensive rebounding. They're just 5-19 overall for the year, 2-7 straight up at home. Total-wise, Golden State's 4-0 to the under in their last 4. 6 out of their last 7 also stayed under the number themselves. Memphis, on the other side, 60% to the under in their last 5. I'm going to lean toward the road dog in this one. Give me the Grizzlies +3 and the under 218.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our quick pick recap. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. I like Memphis +3, under 218.5. Utah -8.5, under 212 and a hook. Sacramento +12, under 228. Phoenix -4, over 233.5. Toronto -4, over 215. Milwaukee -12, over 219. Detroit +2, over 226.5. Boston -13 and a hook, under 216. And last but certainly not least, I like the Clippers -2 and the under 216.5 in that game. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again we do daily premium selections on that website, beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. Now, you're probably thinking, what's the difference between what you do here on YouTube and your Patreon page? And that's a great question. What we do here on YouTube is we handicap every single game on the board, both the side and the total. We don't take any free passes. We don't say underdog or pass, or this team or pass, or I'm not taking any action on this game. We formulate an honest opinion on every single game on the board, both the side and the total. Once again, we don't take free passes. We're not here to waste your time. Now, what we do on Patreon is we really narrow down and focus in on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're high percentage selections, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my current record on Patreon is a whole lot better than it is on YouTube, handicapping every single game, side and total. And I'll tell you this much, if you were to bet your hard-earned money on every single game on the board, side and total, you're guaranteed to lose in the long run. And as a matter of fact, you're probably going to end up losing in the short run. The books are way too smart. They're way too sharp. The math is always against you. And the books have way too much money. They can withstand the swing. So anyway, that's what we do on Patreon. You can check out my current record for free right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. It's right on the homepage. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, guys, now is the time in the show where we do our Spanish edition, also known as Edición en Español. So let's go ahead and get into it. Ok, yo tengo Memphis con puntos y los bajos, Utah menos 8.5 y los bajos, Sacramento con puntos y los bajos, Phoenix menos 4 y las altas, Toronto menos 4 y las altas, Milwaukee menos 12 y las altas, Detroit con puntos y las altas, Boston menos 13.5 y los bajos, y finale, Clippers menos 2 y los bajos. All right, guys, once again, I gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.